this is my story. So I started gym because of a girl. Shallow, I know, but I stayed because of deeper reasons, I promise. The first being that when you're in gym, right, you just keep getting better at whatever you're doing. So when I first got there and I saw myself improving and getting better, I just started to wonder what my limit was. Like you just can do 10 kgs and then 20 kgs and then 30 kgs and it just goes on and on and on. I was like, what's my limit? What can I not do? Spoiler, it doesn't end. But the second reason I stayed was because I had just recently come out and I had distanced myself from a lot of people in my life, and I was trying to construct my identity. In a sense, I was trying to get in touch with my more masculine side because I never got the chance to do that, being raised as a cis-het black Christian woman. So I really needed that time to just connect with, my whole self and get to understand my whole self. And I thought gym would be a healthy way to do that. Looking back now, I realize that relying on this one thing to construct my whole identity should have been the first warning sign that this was not going to go well. But that being said, there were a lot of other red flags that I should have paid attention to. Day one was already a warning sign because what happened is I walked into gym and I headed straight to the changing rooms, got into my outfit and headed straight for the treadmill, and I put it on like an incline of 6 or 8. I'm not sure, but it was pretty steep, and then I just started sprinting. I sprinted so hard and it felt so good because I reached runner's high for like the first time in my life. It was amazing, and even still thinking about it today, I still get like chills down my back. And because of that first experience, I started going to gym every single day because I just wanted to feel that again. I wanted to feel that high again. And I wasn't that type to, slowly introduce myself to a machine or, take my time. Like when I was lifting weights, I wouldn't stop. I'd keep going and I'd always pick like the heaviest weight I could possibly move, Machine set to the highest resistance. I wanted to feel that high again. And I knew that in order to feel it, I had to hurt myself. So every time I did something, I wanted it to hurt. I needed it to hurt so that I can just get higher and higher and higher. And what happens is, because with gym you get better and better at whatever you're doing, I would get accustomed to specific weights or specific workouts, and it would be really, really depressing because that meant I had to find a new way to get my fix. There was a time when my arms hurt so bad. I think I'd only worked on my arms that day in gym, and my shoulders were in so much pain that I couldn't sleep. And when my alarm went off, I just popped a couple of painkillers and made my protein shake and headed straight to gym and worked my arms the entire time. It was amazing. It was the most pain I've ever felt, and it felt really good. So after that, I started to go to gym for like 3 hours in the morning before my lectures, and then after my lectures, I would go back to gym for another 3 hours and just push myself as hard as I could just to feel that same level of pain again. It never happened, and that just made me want to try harder. So at some point I got sick. Like it wasn't anything too bad. I think it was like a flu or a stomach ache or something. I'm not sure. But my doctor told me to rest. But she did praise me for what I was doing there. She was like, "Oh, it's amazing that you work out so much. That's very healthy, very good for you." And basically, she wrote me a sick note to stop me from going to gym for a few days, and gave it to my then girlfriend. And she tried, but I always found a way to just, sneak out and head to the gym at some point in the day. My lowest point, I think, was when. Okay. My lowest point was when I was writing an exam at night, and I made sure to finish that exam early so that I could go to gym. Right? And basically, I usually they close at 9, but on that day they were like closing at 8 because the next day was a public holiday. I think, I'm not sure, I don't remember, but they were closing an hour early. So I get there at quarter to 8 thinking that I have an hour to work out, and I see them closing up, and I started to panic. I went to the people closing up and I was like, no, no, like, what are you doing? It's supposed to close at 9. They're like, nah, we're closing at 8. And I was like, please, please, could I just get in for like 10 minutes? I'm begging. And I was actually begging these people to let me in. And because they knew me, they were just like, okay, cool, you can get in for 10 minutes on the dot. So by now, I was just wearing my gym attire always, so I didn't need to go and change anything. So I ran straight for the bike, and I put the resistance to the highest I could stand at that time, and I just started going. I went hard, so hard. I was literally like dripping sweat by the time that 10-minute mark was up. And I felt so relieved. I I felt really good. And as I was leaving, this guy looked at me with a very concerned face. And this was the first time that anyone had ever looked at me like that because of Jim. He looked genuinely worried about about me. And usually when people talking gym with me, or watching me coming from gym, they're like, oh my gosh, you're amazing, goals, your determination, I want your body, I wish I was as dedicated as you, your self-discipline is on point, etc. So I kept getting this feedback from everyone that what I was doing was good. But for the first time, someone was looking at me, not out of admiration, but out of worry. And so as I was jogging back home, I was thinking about that look, and after all that deep introspection, I came to the conclusion to have one rest day, which, was a lot for me at the time because I went to gym every day, all day, any hour I could. And so that rest day was a big step, and I couldn't do it. It was hard. I hated that day so much. I honestly would just go for hikes basically and pretend that I'm resting when really I wasn't. So the change. I was headed to gym as normal this one day, and there was this girl that had just moved into my digs. It's always about a girl. And basically, when I saw her and we said hi to each other, it was, I don't know, I knew I really liked her, basically, and I wanted to see her again. So I went to gym, and for the first time, I was looking at the clock because I wanted to leave early. So I'm staring at that clock the whole time I'm working out, and when that hour came up, I bolted out of there. Bolted out of the gym, went up the stairs, and she was gone. But she had just moved in, so we were gonna see each other again. But I just really, really wanted to see her, and I did later on that day. And we started talking. talking turned to more than talking, and now we're spending all day with each other every day, and socializing with more people outside of gym. I'm having new experiences, and I'm just basically living a life that isn't centered on me for the first time in a while. And I was just being stimulated by so many different things that didn't necessarily need to hurt or anything, and it it was challenging to not have that control and order in my day initially, but I started to let go of that need to control my day and my body and all these things, just micromanaging myself. I just started to let go of some of that control and just enjoy the moment. Like, I'm definitely not cured or anything. It's still a work in progress. I still get like knot in my stomach when I see like workout ads on Instagram or Facebook or wherever I am, and it's really frustrating because right now people are so focused on like being healthy and looking good. So at some points that's all I see in a day, and it can be really really triggering. And because this isn't recognized as like a disorder, I sometimes feel stupid for feeling this way. Like, I know that what I was doing was unhealthy, but like no one else seems to be saying so. And so I start to doubt myself, to think like, am I just making excuses to be lazy? Am I just being unhealthy and things like that? Because everyone always just talks about the benefits and the good side of like working out and doing all these things, but there isn't much focus on like when to stop and when to rest and when to take a break. Our culture is very much hustle, go, 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 grind, and slowing down, just you feel guilty for slowing down, even though I know it's the right thing to do and is good for me. I don't necessarily have a guideline. So this is known as compulsive exercise or excessive exercise, and it's not necessarily recognized as a disorder, and that can be really hard when you're trying to cope with it, because there aren't necessarily guidelines. You're not sure if what you're doing is even wrong in the first place, but you feel it in your gut. And that's what I wanted to achieve with this video, was just to reach out to anybody like me who feels like maybe this might be them, who feel like they can relate. And I just want to let you know that a dependency, no matter how healthy, can be a very dangerous thing.